Welcome back to another stream on another day. It's Lindsay. Today is the 19th of January. Yes, ma'am, the 19th of January. And we're back live. I just got done filming the video of the diary reading for Shari and Ruby. There is going to be allegedly snow here in my area. A lot of exciting things going on in the next couple of days. I can't wait to get this video edited and up for you guys. More than likely, the video will be ready tonight, hopefully. If not tonight, it'll be up early tomorrow, where I go into detail reading those segments out of her book. I'm sorry, the segments out of the diary that just really were completely shocking, right? Just completely shocking. And let me go back to we're going to read a couple more chapters. Why not? It's a really, really good book by Shari Franke. Let me go ahead and put up I just got the notification, so you guys should be getting notifications. Hey, Lindsay. How you doing on this Sunday? I just lotioned my face. I'm excited to be coming back with the book. I'm excited that I got a video done. I'm very excited. But sometimes it can get a little hard to manage live and regular videos. So the fact that I got a video done, I'm so excited about getting the video done, editing it, adding the photos of them, just doing everything that I normally do on a day-to-day. We've been going through a whirlwind with TikTok getting canceled, then coming back up, and then down, and then up. So a lot's been going on. I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually going to get my hair retwisted tonight. I'm so excited. For the retwist tonight. Getting my hair redone tonight. So I'm going to wash it, condition it real well. And I'll probably do that while I'm editing, or if I'm not doing it while I'm editing, I'll do it. I'll probably watch a movie while editing, or, just get my hair done while editing. I'm doing well, still very happy from an amazing weekend. That's great to hear. Did you know we're looking at 4 inches of snow? 3 to 5 inches of snow expected on Tuesday. 3 to 5 inches of snow expected on Tuesday is crazy, right? Crazy. I don't know if you guys can see. Hang on, let me pull my StreamYard up here so I can see what you guys are seeing. Okay, it's not changing. That's good. I decided we read some more of the book. We talk. TikTok was taken away, but then it was given back. Guys, that was just, I started to get really upset about that, Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Tomorrow is also the presidential inauguration. All that good stuff. So I'm going to wait for a couple of more people to come in. I'll change the title, because sometimes the title can be everything. It's all about title and thumbnails. So I have a lot of thumbnails that I want to upload on the lives, but going live every day, it's kind of a chore to make a thumbnail for every single day. You guys understand that. So it's going to be like a lot of catching up to do and updating stuff over time. You know what I mean? So how's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? How are you guys doing? American. Sorry guys, I'm just talking to my my thumbnail designer. Hi Lisa. How are you doing tonight? Photo of me. How you doing, Lisa? How are you? I was just talking to one of my thumbnail designers. Sometimes it's easy having them, and sometimes it's hard having thumbnail designers. It's very interesting because you have to write down to them exactly what you want them to do, and it's a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch. Sometimes it's easier to just make it yourself, but sometimes they do really good thumbnails for a decent price. If you find a nice graphic designer. -30, Lisa. You don't even understand, Lisa. So we're supposed to have 4 inches of snow here, right? And the last time it snowed in Louisiana was years ago. Years ago. Looking at snow, it'll be 33 degrees all the way down to 26 degrees, guys. And snow here is just, that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see because it doesn't happen often. It does not. I maybe seen snow 2 or 3 times in my lifetime. So I know it's freezing cold, but as far as for the book, it's been really good so far. I left off at part 3, and this is kind of where Shari starts talking about um, Jody's involvement with the family. Yeah, the whole area shuts down here when it snows. Schools shut down. People don't go to work. All kinds of things. All kinds of things happen, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I got me a nice warm jacket. We really don't even keep super warm clothes because we don't really need them. Even on the cold days, you can just throw a hoodie on. We don't need like overcoats and things like that. We don't need that stuff, you know? So. If you guys can, like the video, please. If you guys can, like the video. I'm about to go ahead and start reading here in a second. I just want to get a couple more people in here. I'm going to share my Discord link to everyone. At first, I was like, okay, I just want my Discord link to be for people in the membership program, but I feel like everybody should get a chance to go in there, at least who's a subscriber. You know, I'm not going to make it to where you have to pay to get in the membership club. All right, I'm going to add my video here. Ba-ba, bada bing, bada boom. insert, and post. We got a lot of exciting things coming for the channel, guys. I'm so very excited. Let me grab the Discord link so you guys can join. Because there's nobody in there. I'm the only one in there. Wait, one person came in. There's one little person in there. When you guys come in there, all I ask is that you guys introduce yourself or, those types of things. Let's share this thing. Share. Other than that, I hope everyone's night's been going swell and amazing. Copy link. One person was able to get in. I'm not sure who that is, but if you guys are Discord users, I would appreciate if you guys came through. It's cold in here. It's safe to go out in the snow, but like drive around, maybe not. But thank you, Angela. Welcome. This is our Discord. Please join. Come in. Make yourself at home. My dog is around here. He's going crazy, right? So there's a Discord link. Drakey, come here. Come here, Big Ben. Come here. You want to say hey? Come here. Come here. He's in there playing with something. Okay, so we're going to read this. I don't know how far we're going to get, but we're going to read a couple of chapters because I've kind of been having withdrawals from the book. The book's that good. Yeah, he's playing with this toy. So if you hear little feet pitter-pattering, that's my dog. Is Discord different from chat? Yes, it is. It's an app. It's another app where it's like a messaging app where everyone's in one big group chat. Yeah. Okay. So let's begin to read the next chapter. I think this is going to be good because she starts talking about where she met her. All right. Let me pull you guys up here because I want to be able to see both. Beautiful. Wonderful. Is this okay? I guess this is okay then. All right. Snake in the Garden, chapter 16. And she starts it off by saying, it was during that Orlando trip that Ruby, at her wit's end, sought advice from a family friend on what to do. The friend perked up. Oh, I know just the person, she chirped, explaining that she had been attending workshops in Jody Hildebrandt's life coaching program, Connections. Jody really seems to command a lot of respect, said the friend. Maybe she'd be a good therapist for Chad, given his spirited nature. Jody Hildebrandt, Ruby repeated, testing the name on her tongue. It sounded official, important, like someone who could wrangle a herd of wild teenagers with just a stern glance. A licensed clinical mental health counselor, Jody had built a reputation in Utah's LDS community as something of a miracle worker. Connections, okay. Ooh. Her Connections program promised to help people overcome everything from addiction to distorted thinking. She preached a philosophy based on 3 core principles: impeccable honesty, rigorous personal responsibility, and vulnerable humility. Intrigued by the idea of turning Chad from Dennis the Menace into an LDS poster child, Ruby immediately set up a Zoom call for Chad and Jody. This high stakes video conference took place in our hotel room in Orlando, where Chad had been grounded for the remainder of the trip. After the initial call, Jody reported back to Ruby, expressing confidence in her ability to make progress with Chad if my parents committed to weekly one on one calls between him and Jody. Oh, and she had some other ideas for immediate rehabilitation, including sending him away to Anasi, a wilderness therapy program in Arizona for troubled teens. Jody painted Anasazi as a transformative experience, a place where Chad could shed his rebellious ways and emerge as an obedient, spiritually aligned son my parents craved. It sounded like a miracle cure all, promising to fix every conceivable teenage problem with a bit of fresh air and wilderness survival skills. Never mind the eye watering price tag of $13,945 for just 49 days of treatment. But my parents, flushed with YouTube money and blinded by desperation, didn't even blink at the cost. They were too entranced by Jody's promises and too eager for a quick fix to question whether this was really in Chad's best interests. Whatever you say, said Ruby, desperate for a solution and thrilled to be collaborating in Project Chad with the supposed guru of self help. I looked up Jody online, and something about her rhetoric made me feel uneasy. Even her photo was off putting, her gaze sharp and efficient. Her smile seemed severe, unyielding. In retrospect, though, it wasn't just her physical appearance that unsettled me, it was the complete absence of any nurturing energy. The warm, comforting aura one might normally expect from someone who has supposedly dedicated their life to helping others heal. Instead, in her messaging and her appearance, she seemed oddly smug. Okay, she continues to say, later I dig deeper into Jodi's backstory, much of which she herself has shared openly in various media. Although it's hard to believe anything she says. She says she's the sixth of seven kids born to a fighter pilot dad and a stay at home mom. The family motto was, "You're a Hildebrandt, go hard or go home." According to Jody, her mom lost a baby boy and was emotionally distant and didn't spend much time with her. Jody said her dad, while also emotionally closed off, taught her to work hard and not trust people. Growing up in the desert, Jody said she found she was more comfortable around animals than humans, milking the family goats and enjoying her time alone. Having grown up, having grown up with very little affection, she admitted finding the sight of tenderness between parents and children disturbing. Jody has publicly shared stories of being SA'd by a 15-year-old neighbor when she was 2 to 5, and again by a 16-year-old who lived with them when she was 7 and 9. She said at age 21, she finally told a counselor about the abuse. In 1999, when she was 26, Jody's ex-husband filed for divorce. Jody got full custody of the children, who were 9 and 7 at the time, and in her book, she admitted to finding it hard managing her energetic young kids. She started her journey as a healer in 2003, becoming licensed as a clinical mental health counselor under the Utah Division of Professional Licensing in July 2005. Guided by heavenly instruction and inspired invitations, she despised her special coaching program, meant to foster the things she never had growing up. Connection, hence connection. What troubled me most was how quickly my mother seemed willing to entrust Chad's fate to this virtual stranger, ready to ship him off to wilderness camp based on Jody's advice alone. I couldn't shake the feeling that we might be trading one set of problems for another. The day Chad left for Anasi, it was rainy, the sky a heavy gray blanket that matched the weight in my chest. I watched as he stuffed a trash bag with clothes, His shoulders slumped. He caught my eye, and for a second, I saw a flash of the old Chad, that mischievous sparkle, that huge grin. Then he was gone, swallowed by the gloomy morning. True to form, Ruby and Kevin couldn't resist recording a video to explain their decision. They painted Chad as some kind of juvenile delinquent in desperate need of an attitude overhaul. Kevin, uncharacteristically, took the lead, his voice stern as he laid out the situation. I could see, I could almost see Ruby's puppet strings controlling his words. Then Ruby took center stage. Chad needs to develop some very basic maturity and skills, she declared. This is a chance for a reset, a fresh beginning. The idea with wilderness therapy is if you can survive with these peers in the wilderness with nothing more than the clothes on your back and a couple of field supplies, then there's nothing in the world you can't tackle. Ruby's excitement bordered on the manic. It's like the real wilderness out there, she enthused, eyes gleaming. There are snakes, bears, coyotes, cougars. It's the real deal. We want Chad to have some of those experiences. I think close encounters would be good for him because those types of experiences can teach you what's really important. And he'll come home and be like, "Dude, I survived and there were bears. I can do anything." Okay, 1 second here. Okay. 1 second. Sorry, guys. Okay. Beneath her forced levity, the underlying message was clear. This was another punishment, another way to break Chad down and rebuild him into their idea of a perfect obedient son. No one can fix anybody, Ruby continued, oblivious to the irony. A person must choose if they're going to make changes in their lives. And so I think this experience will reveal Chad and everyone else who's out there to themselves so they can learn to better themselves or just stay in the mud. As Ruby spouted this nonsense, I watched Kevin nodding along at all the right moments, but there was something in his eyes, a flicker of doubt, perhaps. He'd later claim he disagreed at the time before eventually falling in line. In that moment, though, he was a perfect supportive husband, backing up his wife's decisions. Those days after Chad left were a blur of confusion and frustration. Ruby, in her infinite wisdom, decided we needed daily challenges to keep us connected while he was off playing Boy Scout Extreme. I remember rolling my eyes at most of them, but one in particular stands out in my memory. We were supposed to look into our own eyes and write about our light, whatever that meant, and how to make it grow. I went along with it, if only to avoid an argument. After all, arguing would probably lead me to being sent to the desert too, and I sunburn easily. Lindsay says those camps are not all they made out to be, actually have a pretty bad reputation now. Yeah, I did see a Netflix documentary about one of these camps and how the camp was um doing some horrible things. Like the people who were over the camp were essaying the children or doing physical harm to the children. I've heard a lot of um bad things about it as well. She continues on and says, I remember standing in front of the bathroom mirror trying to do this ridiculous exercise. But instead of seeing any inner light or whatever, all I could focus on were my imperfections. It was like a dermatologist's nightmare come to life. My skin was dry and flaking like I was some sort of human croissant. There was a stubborn zit on my chin trying to form its own sovereign nation. And that one thick hair by my mole seemed to grow back overnight, no matter how many times I plucked it. I miss my brother so much. how these stupid daily tasks were supposed to somehow make up for his absence felt off balance, like we were a clown car with one less clown. And staring at my oily T zone in the mirror was hardly going to make it feel any better. When Chad returned from Anasazi, however you say that word, and Anasi, wait, look it up. Sorry, I wanted to look it up. Sorry. He just talked about his time in the wilderness like it was no big deal, as if he'd popped out for a quick nature walk rather than being exiled to the desert for a quarter of a year. He said it was fun in the end, being in nature with a bunch of kids. More freedom than he had at home. Anasazi, gotcha. No vlogging responsibilities, building fires, seeing snakes, sleeping under the stars. But my parents weren't done with Chad yet, not by a long shot. Oh no, they already decided to hire Jody at great expense to embark on a series of one-on-one therapy sessions for Chad. This, to me, was concerning, perhaps even more so than camp, especially because the more I Googled Jody Hildebrandt, the more concerned I became. It was like falling down a rabbit hole lined with red flags. For instance, in 2012, a young man moved to Utah with his new wife and baby to attend Brigham Young University. His bishop recommended he see Jody for therapy. This turned out to be a terrible mistake. Without any proof, Jody accused her client of being an abuser and violated patient confidentiality by reporting him to BYU's honor code as a predator. She also reported him to the church. The fallout was brutal. The man was kicked out of the BYU and the church. His marriage fell apart, the very thing he'd gone to Jody for help with. Jody's therapist license was suspended in 2012 as a result. But for her client, the damage was already done, and here she was, still practicing, still wielding influence. It was as if she'd viewed her suspension as a sabbatical, used it to double down over her questionable methods. Feeling like we're boarding a train headed straight for Crazy Town, I pulled Chad aside for a sister brother talk. We sat together in the basement, and I let it all spill out. Jody's not cool, I said bluntly. Like, she's bonkers. You should see the stuff online. She's practically a con artist. Chad shrugged, annoyingly unperturbed, like I just told him we were out of milk. Chill, Shari. I can handle her. She's like all the others. All you have to do is agree with what they say. No, I think this is a big mistake. Chad raised an eyebrow. Shari, she's just some middle-aged lady. If I don't do therapy with her, mom's going to make my life even worse than it already is. Just be careful, okay? They say she tears families apart. Don't let her get in your head. I won't. Listen, I survived the desert. I can survive Jody Hildebrandt. Chad thanked me for my concern. Then, in typical baby brother fashion, he went straight to Ruby and told her what I said. A few days later, Ruby pulled me aside, fire in her eyes. How dare you sabotage your brother's progress? She hissed. He's getting help. And honestly, Shari, you could probably use some help too. I stared at her, shaking my head. I don't need help from Jody. Yes, you do. You don't like Jody. Anyone who doesn't like Jody is hiding something. It means you're threatened by the truth she speaks. So we're already seeing some signs of manipulation, brainwashing. Anyone who doesn't like Jody, that's a bold claim. Anyone who doesn't like Jody is hiding something. It means you're threatened by the truth she speaks. Ruby nodded sagely as she just imparted the wisdom of the ages. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But Mom, she had her license suspended. Her own kids don't speak to her. Her kids couldn't handle the truth. She's been called by God to help people. Ruby's eyes gleamed with the fervor of a true believer. She was sold on Jody, hook, line, and sinker. And the next chapter talks about the cult of connections. It says that 9 people are in the chat. I don't really see any comments. If you guys are here, just like let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you're here. If you're watching, just let me know. Just let me know. I see your comments, Lindsay. That's the only comments that I see. It's okay. It is a-okay. I'm fine with that. If you're the only one here, I'm fine with that. Hi, Jay. I was just wondering what was going on with my comments. Like I usually have a couple comments. Okay, C. Morales, hi. Thank you guys for letting me know you guys are here. Please, please, please hit the like button so we can kind of try to get our people back in here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so we just went over chapter 16 where Jody meets Ruby. Jody meets Ruby and it sounds like head over heels for her. Already defending her against her own children. Her children say, this woman makes me uncomfortable. And then she turns around and says, anybody who doesn't like her must be threatened by the truth she speaks. That's a bold claim. That's a very bold claim, right? Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, Jay. Hi. I was talking for like 30 or so minutes and I hadn't gotten like 1 or 2 comments. I was like, oh, what happened? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was just making sure that my comments weren't messing up. Okay. Okay, so chapter 17 is a cult of connections. And she starts it off by saying, my first car, let me go back to this and add this up here. My first car was a hand-me-down from Kevin, a 2016 Ford Focus in pristine white. Every morning as I slid into the driver's seat and head to school, I felt a small thrill of freedom. With the radio humming softly and the world rushing by outside the windows, I could breathe, think, and just be myself without any prying eyes or expectations. It represented the first real taste of adulthood, of making my own decisions, charting my own course. Sure, that course was mainly between home and school, with the occasional rebellious detour to the drive-through, but still, freedom. Like many aspects of my life, this newfound freedom came with a caveat. This car title remained in Kevin's name, a detail that I nagged at the back of my mind. In those quiet moments behind the wheel, I couldn't help but wonder, can Ruby swoop in one day and take this small piece of independence away from me? The lack of legal proof that the car was truly mine was always a source of anxiety. A legal reminder that my autonomy was still very tenuous and hinged on Ruby's unpredictable moods, which were about as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. There had certainly been some strange shifts in her behavior now that she was so obsessed with connections. One day, Ruby and Kevin went to a connections conference, and when Kevin came back, he seemed stressed. He wasn't sure he liked the community and would later say he was and would later say he felt like he was surrounded by a bunch of man-hating women. Still, a lot of people who he respected were part of connections at this point, so he ignored his doubts. Besides, Ruby seemed so enraptured by Jody and her philosophy. He dared not to burst her balloon. It was easier to go along with it than to risk being the next target of Jody's truth-seeking missiles. But that was the beginning and the end. That was the beginning of the end for them. Ruby became more and more involved with connections, diving into Jody's concepts of truth and distortion, two innocuous sounding words that would soon be the bane of my existence. This program was expensive as it was extensive. The 6-week team leadership training, which includes 6 90-minute sessions with a certified connections trainer and access to Jody's ever-growing library of more than 100 podcasts, came with a hefty price tag of $4,995 per person. That's expensive. Sounds like twin flame. For those truly committed to Jodi's philosophy, or perhaps those she deemed in need of more extensive help, there was the 18-week company leadership training costing $1,485. It seemed Jodi believed in the old adage, if you're going to fleece someone, might as well go for the whole sheep. The fruits of her labor were evident in her $5 million luxury home in Ivins, a picturesque town 4 hours south. Complete with a pool and a safe room, it stood as a gleaming testament to how lucrative the business of fixing people could be, and just how persuasive Jodi was at reeling in the disciples and indoctrinating them. Jodi's playbook focused on isolation and control. To fully embrace her teachings, Connection students were urged to distance themselves from anyone not living by Jodi's truth. That's interesting. They were urged to distance themselves from anyone not living by her truth. I noticed that with a lot of cult leaders and things like that, they want to distance you from your family, your friends, your comfort zone, people you know. It was like watching a real life invasion of the body snatchers, observing my parents' sanity circle, the drain as they morphed into Jodi's devoted disciples. At first, I hesitated to use the word cult. It sounded extreme. But as I delved into some casual online research, nothing says normal teenager quite like Googling, is my family in a cult? Connections ticked all the boxes. Sure, we weren't being physically relocated to some remote compound a la Jonestown, but we didn't need to be. Our dedicated enclave within Utah was a perfect setup for someone like Jodi, a ready made, isolated community ripe for manipulation. Wow. Jodi's followers were so compelled to confess their distortions in group sessions and through constant phone calls with each other. Her little army informing on each other, recruiting anybody who'd listen. The key to connection, paradoxically, was disconnection, isolating yourself from anyone who didn't speak Jodi's language, making yourself totally dependent on your new connections family, who would police your every thought until you existing in a hive mind of groupthink. Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. I love the way she put that. The key to connection, paradoxically, was disconnection, isolating yourself from anyone who didn't speak Jodi's language, making yourself totally dependent on your new family, who would police your every thought until you existed in a hive mind of groupthink. I love the way she put that. That's probably the best way you could sum that up. At the heart of it all was Jodi, running the show with an iron fist. To those outside her inner circle, she was a respected pillar of the community, a beacon of hope for those seeking healing. Through sheer force of personality, she had positioned herself as the ultimate life coach, seemingly preying on LDS people who had started out simply wanting some coping tools, new ways to heal, and look at the world. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a rigid script and tyrannical system designed to strip them of their autonomy while Jodi monetized their so-called healing. Ruby's descent into Jodi's world hit warp speed when she took the 6-week life coach training course. Suddenly, she wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid, she was brewing it. On Saturday, I watched her hang on Jodi's every Zoom broadcasted word like she was the second coming. The stars in my mom's eyes were blinding. Before long, Ruby had become a certified connections life coach. What does it take to become that? Leading support calls in women's groups. Client confidentiality became a joke as she reported weekly to Jodi. Big sister was here. Big sister general, right? My goodness. This is next page. Okay. One night at dinner, mom casually mentioned that a woman in her support group had been cheating. She uses this in the diary. So reading this is very helpful for when you're reading the diary because she said that E was cheating, right? The offense, noticing the mailman was attractive. In Connections' warped reality, this constituted infidelity. Jody's teachings were extreme. A married man talking to a female coworker could be unfaithful, and glimpsing attractive people online might be classified as you know what addiction. Only absolutely only absolute purity of thought was acceptable. That's interesting because no one has absolute purity of thought, right? In Jody's rigid world, innocence was rare. Those deemed distorted, usually husbands, were told to abandon their families to work on themselves alone. Jody seemed to specialize in guiding wives to distance themselves from their husbands or kicking them out entirely. Connections language framed it as inviting him to leave. Code for I'm going to make you isolate yourself from everyone you know except Jody. Shockingly, the husbands often went along with it, fully convinced that it was in the best interest of their families. Um, it was like watching lemons drop off a cliff. Lemmings. This self imposed isolation was part of Jody's twisted rings of responsibility concept. If you were distorted, you'd be stripped of every responsibility except self improvement. No job, no community, no family. This makes a lot of sense when it comes to the diary we were reading yesterday. Just you and Jody's teachings in a vacuum, solitary confinement, but you have to pay for the privilege, all in the name of healing. These separations typically lasted at least 6 months, the minimum time Jody deemed necessary to demonstrate genuine change. Her logic was that anyone could fake remorse or short term adjustments, but sustaining change for half a year proved sincere transformation. Adults were essentially put on probation in their relationships, expected to prove their worth to Jody to earn back the privilege of family closeness. The 6 months rule also applied to kids, and any significant transgression could result in a half-year sentence of restricted privileges, increased scrutiny, and constant pressure to demonstrate change. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. It's interesting to compare Ruby's glacial approach to parenting with Jody's rigid philosophy. The two weren't just similar, they were symbiotic. This is what King was talking about the other day. So Ruby was already a cold mother, right? That had no mothering technique at all, no nurturing qualities about her. And Jody has this rigid philosophy that she created in the back of her head. And those two kind of went hand in hand. So she continues to say that Jody's connections doctrine wasn't so much a revolution to Ruby as it was a mirror, reflecting and magnifying the harsh worldview she's always held. After all, Ruby hadn't always doled out love with a miser like a miser with coins, making her affection contingent on a prolonged demonstration of good behavior. In her world, love wasn't given, it was a prize to be earned through perfect conduct, a carrot dangled just out of reach to keep us constantly striving, constantly proving ourselves worthy. That's terrible. That's absolutely horrible. But let's get that there. Connections wasn't introducing Ruby to a new way of thinking. It was giving her the vocabulary and pseudo-scientific backing to justify what she had been doing all along. Jody's system had simply slapped a fancy label on this emotional starvation diet and called it therapy. In the end, Connections didn't change Ruby's tactic. It just gave her a manual to refine them. Ruby didn't announce Jody's arrival or her newfound interest in Connections with any fanfare on 8 passengers. Instead, the shift was subtle, a slow integration of new ideas and terminology into her existing content. It was as if she was testing the waters, gauging her audience's reaction to this new philosophy. I remember noticing the change in her language. First, Suddenly, truth became a buzzword in her videos and blog posts. She casually mentioned how she found this self help program that was revolutionizing her approach to parenting and life in general. It was presented as just another tool in her parenting arsenal, another piece of advice she was sharing with her followers. Ruby began promoting connections events to her audience, though she didn't immediately reveal the depth of her involvement. She'd mention upcoming conferences or encourage her followers to sign up for free Saturday classes. It was framed as an exciting opportunity for self improvement, a chance for her audience to access the same wisdom that was supposedly transforming our family life. She positioned it as evolution, a natural next step in her journey as a mother and influencer. Her followers, already primed to trust her advice, began to show interest in all these new ideas, even though they couldn't see how connections was already starting to destroy our family. For instance, when Jody decided that Chad wasn't improving fast enough, she advised my parents to immediately pull him out of track and football, crushing all his teenage dreams. For Chad, track and football were his lifeline, his ticket to a brighter future. He had won first place in the district 100-meter dash, also in the 200-meter dash. Coaches whispered about his potential, and the dream of football or track scholarship seemed within reach. It was more than just a way to pay for college. It was Chad's chance to prove himself, to carve out an identity beyond the constraints of our family's dysfunction. But with one nod from Ruby and Kevin, Jody's interference shattered all those dreams. How could Chad possibly commit to track and football when he couldn't even be fully responsible for himself? Nope, Chad would be barred from sports until he was fixed. And that meant taking away the one thing that gave him purpose and joy. I stood in the doorway of Chad's room, watching him methodically. I need to get this one right. Hang on. Methodically pack away his football gear. Chad, I said softly, do you really have to do this? He looked up at me, his eyes hollow. You know I do, Shari. Mom and Dad made it clear. Jody says, who cares what Jody says? Chad's lips quirked in a sad smile. Yeah, well, try telling that to Mom and Dad. As if on cue, Ruby's voice floated up from downstairs. Chad, Jody's on the phone. She wants to talk to you. I watched my brother's shoulders slump even further. He stood up, casting one last longing look at his gear before heading downstairs like a condemned man walking to the gallows. This isn't right, I thought, my heart aching. In the world of competitive sports, especially at the high school level, timing is everything. You can't just pause your athletic career and expect to pick it up again years later without consequences. They effectively ruined his chances at the scholarships he had worked so hard for. All in the name of what? Even now, I struggle to understand their reasoning. I followed Chad down, hovering at the edge of the living room as he took the phone from Ruby. Her face was beaming, as if she were handing him a gift instead of a beep sentence for his dreams. Hello, Jody, Chad said, his voice flat. I couldn't hear Jody's words, but I could see their effect on my brother. With each passing moment, the light in his eyes dimmed a little bit more. Yep, I get it, he mumbled. I need to focus on being responsible for myself before I can focus on being responsible to a team. I wanted to scream. Don't you see what you're doing to him? Don't you understand what you're taking away? In that moment, I saw flashes of a future crumbling away. Chad scoring the winning touchdown, scouts clamoring to offer him scholarships, a path out and away from all of this madness, all that now gone. As Chad handed the phone back to Ruby, Kevin clapped him on the shoulder. This is for the best, son. Jody knows what she's talking about. So, those were the next two chapters, kind of introducing Jody into the mix. I feel like, let me see what you guys saying. The seafood was awesome. Yes, it was. This pair of idiots didn't realize putting kids in sports they love helps channel teen energy into healthy avenues instead of idle time, make mischief. I think they fully understood what they were taking from them. Um, Honestly, I do too. I think they knew what they were taking, and I think they just didn't care. I feel like there was a sense of crazy, crazy, crazy brainwashing going on there. Like insane brainwashing. If if Jody would have said let him stay in football, he would be in football. It was whatever Jody said went. It was whatever Jody said went. She was the queen of that castle. Let's put it that way. Whatever she said went. They didn't really question it, right? They didn't question anything Jody said. For why not? I don't know. I can't tell you why, but they didn't question anything. Maybe because they related with it so much, she spoke to them in a different way. Because, like we know, Ruby was already very cold, very calculating. She was already, you know, she was already out there like that. So that just gave her, that just gave her what she needed. That gave Ruby right what she needed. She felt right at home. All these other parents or whoever was in the group as well was they were all falling in line with each other. And I feel like everybody who was in that group, not just Jody and Ruby, but everybody who was in that group needs to be investigated. Everybody, not just one, two people. Everybody needs to be investigated. Like, because I know they have kids. I know they were putting this stuff on their children as well. So investigate all of them. And that she was smiling happy at him handing the phone over. Jody did a lot of brainwashing, but Ruby was already horrible. Ruby was. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but then again, then again, I also feel like she gave her the push she needed to be what she is today, right? Ruby was always, I feel like, going to be a person that just didn't have any motherly instincts, any nurturing instincts, a distant person, right? That's one thing. What is this thing saying that I'm live? Hang on. Sorry. But I feel like that's just her falling into connections did her no justice. Her falling into connections did her nothing good, right? A hot shitty mess is what that is. It's sad. Hey random, how are you? We're just basically talking more about Ruby and how reading the book makes the diary make so much more sense. I'm happy that I'm reading the book and the diary at the same time because it make so much more sense. Like when she says that they're cheating, when she says this, when she says that, it makes sense. She learned all that. She learned all that from her. Oh, you like my hair? I'm getting it done tonight, actually. It's just kind of like all thrown on top of my head. Thank you, random. Thank you. I'm getting it done. I'm getting it done tonight. But my thing is, how many people are in this connections? How many people are in that organization and where are they? Or did y'all investigate them? because they need to be investigated immediately. Like, investigate them. Let me see. I doubt any of their pages are still up. Their pages are up. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Like, what?
Independent, and they, let's say, go into a relationship and this person is not independent. So this person who's not independent, they don't know how, or they're not willing to take responsibility for themselves. And so they're constantly running into this person who's independent. Well,
who has boundaries.
So can you see how they're just constantly running into this person?
And can you see how this person is the problem?
You're in my way.
That's right. This person with the boundaries always gets the blame. And so it is very common that the one person who stands up in truth is usually the one that gets blamed. Now, isn't that interesting? Blamed. We've told you that blame is distortion, but that's exactly where people go. They blame them. And so now you know, not only is the person that you're on the other side blaming you, but you've got their in-laws and their neighbors and their friends and your church leaders and your grandparents, and everyone's blaming this person who's the only one that's in truth. This person should be being celebrated. This person, all these people should, if they were all in truth, say, good for you for not tolerating abuse and aggression. Good for you. Why? Because we have a world where humans use their agency to...
Girl, no. You're spewing BS. Living in truth. It's funny because I can use some of this in my video. This is interesting, right? Because while reading the diary, she always says she always says that her kids, oh, they're lying. They're not living in truth. Girl, it's like an excuse. It's an excuse for you being a terrible person. Like, I really don't understand. I don't understand. It's too much. It's too much. Look at all these people complaining. I wouldn't trust this company. They use brainwashing tactics to manipulate you. They intentionally make you feel bad about yourself and use slander. Please stay away from this company at all costs. What? They will ruin your family through mind control. They don't want you to think for yourself and critically think. They want to shelter you. They're an actual cult, They also assaulted me. In the Facebook groups, every time other people has given the advice that Ruby and Judy, I guess she means Jody, didn't like, they would say, it is not truth. Which people in that group has different advice. They should disagree with them respectfully, not say you're not saying the truth. So there's a ton of just horrible reviews. These people say that they were brainwashed, abused. She's not a good person. She's not worthy to be trusted with your marriage. This is from 8 years ago. Do not be fooled. Several professionals and peers have serious concerns with her. I am very concerned with the unprofessional tactics used by this therapist. So Ruby didn't see any of this. There are only bad reviews for this. There's no good reviews out there. That's sad. That is sad. I don't even want to log in. I'm not logging in on Facebook, but you guys can see their mindsets are just warped like shit. Okay. Let me see if I can find something else. I see. Them about parenting. Here it is.
Be a controlling parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't.
Right. Control is not parenting. That's all it is. It's controlling. So no, you don't want to be a controlling parent. And like Ruby just said, I hear this probably every other day. Someone says, I'm afraid that I am controlling. I'm afraid. So if you're afraid, if you say that a lot, you're controlling. There's your indicator, is that you have fear, because fear leads to control. And we're going to break this down for you so you can see it.
Yeah, that's great. I know that if your leading question is this controlling or not? If that's the biggest filter that's going through your mind every day as you're making decisions, is this controlling? Is this not controlling? That's what you're bowing to. I hear it from parents all the time. I don't want to be a controlling parent.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Right. Control is not parenting. That's all it is. It's controlling. So no, you don't want to be a controlling parent. And like Ruby just said,
I didn't even say
I hear
anything.
this probably every other day. Someone says, I'm afraid that I am controlling. I'm afraid. So if you're afraid, if you say that a lot, you're controlling. There's your indicator, is that you have fear, because fear leads to control. And
look at this shit. It's wild that they were out there parading around like this while entitled to give advice while they had their kids locked up. Look at this. This is their daughter. Where's something else? Where's something else that I can find with them talking? Wait, hold on. Let me find something. Here she is.
How do you know if you are a controlling parent? What is it that you're going to look at? So we have this idea that controlling parents are parents who make their kids do something that the kids don't want to do. Did you know that a controlling parent is also a parent who doesn't expect anything from their children and allows the child to do whatever they want? That's also a controlling parent. Being a parent is a position of power. You have a responsibility and you have an obligation and a duty to show up being wise, being a guide, being an instructor for your child. And your children are showing up saying, I won't do that. No, I don't want to. If you're in a position of power and you turn your power and give it over to the kids, that is control. How do you know if you are a controlling parent? What is it that you're going to look at? So we have this idea that controlling parents are parents who make their kids do something that the kids don't want to do. Did you know that a controlling parent?
So what is she trying to say? Yeah, I feel like everyone from up there in that part of Utah kind of sounds the same. Okay, here's another one. These people are nuts. Okay, let's see. Look.
there's other ways to grab your children's attention. It may take more effort, and it probably will take more effort on your part, rather than hitting them, because when you hit them, you immediately have their attention. Most kids will be like, and then they'll be like, what do you want? I'll do whatever you want. Just don't hit me again. But then you have this dynamic set up of, I'm afraid of you, and I obey you because I'm afraid of you, not because I love you or I respect you or I want to obey you. I do those things out of compliance now. And some kids won't even do it out of compliance. They'll just get hit, and then they'll just look at you like, so now what are you going to do? Hit them harder? Like pummel them? Now you've lost your intervention. And more kids are going towards that, where they just don't appear to be phased. There's other ways to grab your children's attention. It may take more effort, and it probably will take more effort on your part, rather than hitting them, because when you hit them, you immediately,
But push them in
you
a pool.
immediately have their attention. Most kids will be like, and then they'll be like, what do you want? I'll do whatever you want. Just don't hit me again. But then you have this dynamic set up of, I'm afraid of you. And I obey you because I'm afraid of you, not because I love you or I respect you or I want to obey you. I do those things out of compliance.
Girl, but you can push him in the pool and do all that stuff y'all were doing. Do you believe in reality? You don't. Don't be a doormat. These
Is it
titles.
possible for women today to be confident without being cocky? Is it possible for a woman to be bold without being brazen? And is it possible for a woman to be self-assured and decisive without being demanding and demeaning? Yes, it is time for women to stand in truth. Is it possible for women today to be
I'm done.
confident?
What is going on with her? Like, I'm so confused. Why are you coming on here like this, but then you're in real life, you're horrible. You're horrible. I don't know if it got worse towards the end. Like, are they dating? What is going on? Are they dating? Are they dating? Were they like are is this a way of like repelling your your um your self-hatred? I am so confused. Like what's really going on here? Because Jody said she dealt with abuse, right? All her life, she dealt with abuse, which could lead to why she was dealing with so much trauma and she lost her mind, right? She dealt with abuse. She said she was abused as a kid, SA'd all throughout her life, and then her husband left her. I wonder why. Experience is neutral. What message are we sending with this one? Um I don't know. I feel like y'all could have rode off into the sunset, left the kids, left the husbands, and just rode off. Went on a 50-year cruise or something. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. Like, are y'all nuts? And it's only them. It's only them. I'm just saying, like, my gaydars clock pretty good, and I'm like, something, I I mean, the comments, right? The comments, like, when is the honeymoon? Like, what is going on over here on this page? There's not a man anywhere on this. Oh, there's one. There's one.
Ruby, you've got a very interesting story. You've had a very large social media following. I think at your height, about 4 million followers.
Yeah.
Was that on Instagram or?
That was on YouTube, and on Instagram at the height that was like 520,000.
About 520,000. So you were kind of like the mom, the internet mom, the YouTube mom for the country, really. And very, very popular. And that went for several years. We're going to lead up to Jody here in a minute, but you guys met and there were some changes that were made. And I want to talk about those changes. And I want to talk about your approach to both mental illness and your approach to, truth is what we really want to talk about. Ruby, you've got a very interesting story. You've had a very large social media following. I think at your height, about 4 million followers.
Yeah.
They have an approach to mental illness. Ooh, girl. I need to stop. I need to just stop talking about them because, like, you guys can obviously see that this doesn't look like a dark, scary cult, right? It doesn't. They did a very good job of shielding the abuse from the public. They did a very good job of shielding this. But my thing is, where are the other people that were involved in this group? And where are their children? Because I'm pretty sure they're still following the same rhetoric. Like what? This is what they find. I distract from fear or pain by blank. The illusion that I can get out of blank. Somebody said, as the kids are tied up in the basement, cold, covered in wounds, that you put paprika and honey in. That is the tip of the iceberg. Are you finna take my bed away? Sorry guys, I had to do a deep that was a deep breath because I don't even know what to say at this point. Yeah. These people shouldn't have been advising not a damn person. I can't. Random says propaganda. Jay says it's scary to wonder about how many therapists, life coaches, etc. have mental struggles themselves. Well, that's interesting that you say that because I heard that a lot of mental health specialists have gone through something before. That's interesting. A lot of them do. A lot. Almost all of them go through something, right? Because that's what leads them into that. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've heard. Yeah. Yeah. And guys, I don't know. I feel like we still have a lot to figure out. I've only read 16 chapters of the book, and it's been a while since I read the journal, but I've read almost half of that as well. There's nothing good in it. The way she presents these things online compared to what she's doing in the journal at home, there's no type of correlation there. So she just let herself go when she wasn't being watched. She just did whatever she felt like she wanted to do. Makes no damn sense. It really makes no sense, guys. Yep. So what do you guys think about this situation? Like I want you guys' like opinions about the situation. Because I knew I wanted to talk about it. I didn't know when I was going to talk about it, but it's heavy. It's very heavy. She knew what she should be doing. Everyone wants to believe she was so controlled by Jody. She'd choose to do wrong when she knew right. Okay, yeah. I mean, I can agree to agree. She knows she should have known right from wrong. She knows right from wrong. She's an adult, but I truly do believe that Jody amplified it for her. I'll say that. I feel like Jody amplified everything. It's like Ruby had the platform, but she didn't have the plan. Jody had the plan. Jody had everything written down, nice and neat, and the code of ethics that fit with her lifestyle or where she wanted her life to go. So that just exasperated it. Yes, Perfect way to describe that. A complete exasperation. Let me see if I can find some old 8 Passengers content. I might be able to look it up real quick. Yeah, I agree. Her eyes show how dark her mind and spirit are. I feel like Jody gave her the encouragement. Yep, she did. Let's see. It's not up. Their second channel's up.
He tracks me down in Idaho, okay? So we
Their second channel is up. They have a channel up. Is this them? Oh, hell no. Okay, wait. Hold on. Hard conversations and tough parenting days, right? They have a channel still on.
Some days parenting requires uncomfortable conversations, bold confrontations, and lots of squabbles. Today I have all 3. Goes in the G bag. Clue number 1, you wear them on your eyes. Clue number 2, you wear them swimming. Clue number 3, I'm always losing them. Okay, let's get you off to school.
Earrings. You put on earrings.
I just opened my cookbook. You guys, my cookbook. I finally got one. Have you guys ordered yours? You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to purchase a second one just to keep in the car. I have a little, you can't see it, but a little thing right here, and I can just sit it right there. So when I come to the grocery store, I can just open up my book and get all of my grocery shopping, like just mark which ones I'm going to do that week and then get all the groceries from the recipe. Because I know this one is going to get beat up in the car because I'm going to mark it and figure out like what's for sale and then match it what's in the cookbook. I'm doing a TV segment. You guys, I'm going on TV again. This is my second appearance. I'm going on Studio 5. It's on KSL, which is a local station. And I am going to be doing soup and bread. So I'm pulling up the soup section here in my book. I need to decide which soup recipe I'm going to share. And I think I'll do the cinnamon rolls actually, because I do have a special thing that I like to do with the cinnamon rolls that not everybody does, and I think would be super helpful for everybody. But I think I might do my mom's chicken noodle soup, but my my ham and bean stew is probably my favorite recipe in this entire book. Or goulash. I grew up on that. Might actually need to go on the segment. This is going to be hard to pick. It is, it's mine. I took Abby to school today, and when I looked at her, I said, Abby, did you wash your face? No. I said, I know you didn't fix your hair or brush it. Or wash it, for that matter. It looks really greasy. I said, please tell me you brushed your teeth.
Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear?
I'm pretty sure we are all out of syrup. They don't have any berry syrup. I really, really like the berry syrup. And I'm not seeing any. I'll just have to do maple today. I am not the only one who has to have this conversation with their kids, right? Like, put deodorant on, brush your teeth.
No.
Remember to fix your hair. We want to take care of ourselves, right? Are you for real? Dippin' Dots? Have you guys had these? Are they good? I'm sure they're full of sugar. I'm refraining. I'm not going to get them today. Maybe as a special treat later. This is Shari's all-time favorite cereal. Frosted Flakes. And this is Chad's. Again, sugar. And here's Eve's. I love you with all my heart. I kind of am looking at my cart and I only have sugar items. Focus, Ruby, focus. Kevin's out of town. He's been on a business trip. And we had some pretty heavy things to handle while he's been gone. I think that's why I'm going for the sugar. Okay, I'm going to go get the healthy stuff and then I'm going to check out.
Last week, do you remember what happened?
Last time I went to dance class, I didn't listen.
If you sit on the floor one time at dance,
I was supposed to stand on my dog, but I didn't.
if you poke the girl next to you in the face,
I laid on the floor instead, poking my neighbor.
or if you run away from your teacher,
I didn't respect the dancer.
I'm taking you home and you won't stay there and finish dance class.
If I'm naughty at dance school, I'm not going to be able to go to dance class anymore.
That means when you go to dance class, you have to decide that you're going to be really, really good.
I'm going to be really good today. Be good.
You're going to be good? Okay.
I am trying to decipher if what is going on with Eve is like normal for her age. And I understand that 5-year-olds are wild and loud and they love getting together and playing with their friends. I've never had a kid quite like Eve, but she does not like to sit and listen. I don't know if that's just her personality and she just needs me to be more strict with her than what was required with some of the other kids, or if she is displaying hyperactivity tendencies. So I'm going to try to figure that out today. I honestly don't know which way it's going to go. She knows that I mean it and I'm going to carry through with it. If she absolutely is not capable, then I'm going to maybe take further measures to figure out if there's hyperactivity tendencies going on, or if she stays and she's really good and she listens, then it probably just means she needs a little bit more of a strict routine with her. If she can do this, then she's capable of doing anything. Is she going to make it through her dance class today successfully? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. This isn't even the hardest conversation I've had today. The biggest one is yet to come. I'm so nervous.
Where's your spot? Reese, is our spot? Kelly, where's your spot? Let's go right here. Okay. We all get our spot.
So far, so good.
Okay. There's too much music going on, but this video is from what, five years ago. Let's do the worst moments. She seems like she's being modest here. Nothing seems bad there, right? So let's see this one. Supposedly the worst moments, I guess. I don't know what they mean by worst moments.
You're going to think you're torturing him. Stop it. I know you're not, but it looks like you are. Okay, Crystal. I'm only going to say it one more time, and then you're going to lose the privilege to eat dinner. Chad, what are you doing over there?
What?
You no texting at the dinner table. No texting.
Let me see it. Let me see it.
I see it.
We should clarify that in our house, all our kids know that cell phones are free game for parents, so we can monitor safety.
Yeah, no kid ever said, "Yay, I'm so glad my parents read my text messages." Said no.
What is this? I really like you. Hold on.
I did not say that.
How do you work this stupid phone?
The only downside to giving your kids a flip phone is I swear I have to remember how to work it every time I go through it. Who are you texting?
No one.
Any girlfriend?
Whoa. I really like you. I saw you in my dreams last night.
I'm telling you, it's not her. It was her brother. Look, go down. She said, "I'm so sorry. That was my brother."
Did
How
she?
do I go?
I saw you in
Oh my gosh. Sorry, that was my brother. What is the nature of your relationship with this individual? I mean, there's like 300 texts in here.
Do you like her, or do you just like her? She's new friend.
Yeah, it's really, really messy. I don't know.
I seen him with her, and he likes her.
Does she like you back?
Probably. No, she thinks he's annoying.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
You've been sleeping on a beanbag.
I was sleeping on a beanbag since October, and they gave my room back like 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'll give you the reason why I lost my bedroom. I think so. I think this is the reason. At least this is the reason that's been in my head. It's pretty funny, but now that I look back, I mean, it's pretty depressing.
No, we never told our viewers.
That I woke Russell up at 2 in the morning and told him that we're going to Disneyland and he has to pack. And he got up and made his bed all neatly and then packed all his clothes in a suitcase. And then he walked out the door and I'm like, Russell, he was like, what? And he's all happy. Has his sunglasses on.
Do you think it's funny? Because
And then I walk out.
if you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
It was not funny.
Russell got the big bedroom and Chad got the smaller bedroom. And Russell's bigger bedroom also had a bathroom. But what you guys didn't know was Chad didn't get any room. He didn't get anything. He was sleeping on the floor in the family room. Abby, we took the phone away from Abby in November. And you may never get the phone back.
Probably not.
No, I have no friends.
You can play with friends.
No, like
Poor
I don't
Abby.
have friends.
I don't have friends either.
I literally told my friends I'm not hanging out with them anymore.
Because
They say some pretty messed up stuff.
I don't even know where they live. They're pretty far away.
So, summer goal, become the best athlete I possibly can.
You mentioned how.
If you cut one more thing in my house, I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm going to cut its head off.
God, I will be so mad.
So what are you going to do?
Are you gonna cut anything else? No.
You promise? Look at Mama. I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch. And it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch. I'm going to explain the rules to this.
7.
We're done.
2. Stop reading their homework.
Did she just say she's
So
gonna
all,
have to be
like, what, I have
hungry
your
and
attention
I hope
now?
nobody
Is
gives her
that it?
anything?
You're all going to listen?
Girl, so you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it seeping through there. You can see it seeping through there where Chad, I believe that was Chad. Chad was sleeping on the floor, right? They're reading their personal conversations on the camera for their viewers, all kinds of stuff. Her child forgot to pack lunch, so she said, well, she'll just go hungry. And then on top of that, she said, I hope nobody gives her anything. Like, wait, what? Why wouldn't you want somebody to give her something if she's hungry? Like, it's that damn serious for you? It's not that serious, you know? It's not that serious. That is crazy. It's how Ruby was treated by her parents. I honestly don't know. In the book, Shari said that it was strict, but I don't know if it was that kind of strict. That's crazy. I don't understand. I feel like something had to happen to Ruby to make her so demented and evil like that. Like, what happened to her? Did her parents did her parents treat her so poorly, and so she never felt the love of her parents, therefore she just did it to her children, like prolonged it for another generation? I don't know, guys. I really don't know. But what happened to her growing up? What happened to her to where it just seems like she's devoid of like processing any type of positive emotion? Like, everything must be perfect. Otherwise, she's a wreck. That's just not it. That ain't it. That is not it. But that's very interesting to kind of see. I didn't know one of their channels was still up. One of them was taken down, and the other one, their second backup channel, is still up there. Had no idea that was up. But yep. So yeah, we went over 2 chapters of the book today, where Shari talks about meeting Jody, all those cool things. And what I find interesting is a lot of what Shari's explaining in the book helps explain some of the things that are going on in Ruby's diary. So you gotta make the correlation between the two. I think she most definitely is a narcissist. Like yesterday when we were reading her diary, she was saying, she consistently said, me, why are they doing this to me? Why are they lying to me? They just want to, like, everything was a personal attack to her. Like, nothing could exist outside of a personal attack to Ruby. And it's like, maybe they're just being kids. I don't know. Like, lady, are you good? It's unbelievable. We kind of went on their Instagram page to kind of show you guys how her and Jody both put on this united front. They cleaned up well, and they try to seem like a real, like, legitimate organization that were helping change people's lives, when in all actuality the reviews for Jody's counseling were all awful from damn near 10 years ago. So I don't know how the hell didn't you catch on to that? I don't know. It's just it's a mind. It makes you think. And then again, it's like, I don't even know what the hell to think at some point in this. But hopefully the book gives us a little bit more clarity. I love the way that Shari breaks it down. I love the words she uses. She gives us, she makes me feel like I'm in there with her. Like, I can understand some of the emotions that she's feeling by the way she describes it, which I love that. So So you guys should most definitely be on the lookout for a video drop tonight. If it's not up by midnight, it'll probably be up tomorrow. It's most definitely going to be up tomorrow before I get on live. I just have to do a little editing, snipping, and cutting, and it's going to be on that first part of the diary that we read yesterday. I definitely go into detail, break it down a little bit, give my analysis, ask you guys to give your analysis in the comments. So I think it's really, really, really going to be good. I think it's really, really, really going to be good. I'm probably going to wrap this up, get some food, and go edit because I have a video to edit. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Thank everyone who came out today, liked the video, and shared the video and have been watching all my videos. It means the world to me. The Queen Op video went over, I think it's at 1,800 views, which is great for a video that's not about Gypsy. So I want to thank Dare to Be Different. I want to thank Jay. I want to thank Random. I want to thank Lindsay. I want to thank C. Morales. I want to thank Angela. I want to thank Lisa. Everyone who came in, I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys so, so, so very much. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going live every day in January. Yes, I am. So you guys can get to know me better. We can have fun and things like that. And then we'll see what happens in February. I don't know if I'm going to be going live every day. It's probably not going to be an everyday thing for me, but it is pretty fun to come on here and know the audience. But I'm going to be going live more often this year. Let's put it that way. Thank you guys so much for coming through. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night and have a wonderful tomorrow. Stay warm. Bye, guys. And make sure to check out the video. If you're still up when it drops, check out the video. Bye, guys.